Progression is basically a series in which every term is related to the previous term in one way or another. Okay? And I was telling you that this is a very simple progression where you have counting that every next number is one more than the previous number, right? So basically, how do we get the next number? We add one to the previous one. So this 5 plus 6, 5 plus 1 will give me 6. 6 plus 1 will give me 7. So every time, this is a progression because every term is related to the other one through a fixed rule. So the rule here is that you're adding plus 1 to every term, right? Similarly, if I ask you to count backwards and you started at 25, so you'll be like, okay, 25, 24, 23. How are you doing this? In your mind, you have a rule that I must subtract minus 1. Oh, sorry, I subtract 1 from each number, and that is how you get the next number. But where do you start? You always need a starting point. This thing. Similarly, when you're counting, some people might start counting from 1, but some people might start counting from 0, right? So you need to have a starting point, and that is called A. So we will call A as the starting value. So your starting value is always A. Now here's the thing. Let's suppose we have all the numbers from 1 to 7 and I ask you to add them up. Okay. So we have these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then how will you add them up?
Sir, I would probably write 7 factorial.
Why?
Oh, sorry, you're supposed to add them. Never mind.
Yeah,
So
not
then
multiply them.
I would simply just add all of them. 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus
Yeah,
1.
so that is the most simplest method to do it, that you just start adding them up. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15, 15 plus 6 is 21, and 21 plus 7 is 28. But then if you do that, you wouldn't really know that there is a simple way. Because here's the thing. Any relation that you have in a progression, if I add 1 and 7, what do I get?
8.
If I add 2 and 6, what do I get?
8.
If I add 3 and 5, I still get 8.
Yes.
And because 4 doesn't have a pair to start with, so it is half of 8.
Okay.
Basically, what do I have? I have 7.5 pairs of 8.
Yes.
Right? And that is 28. And this is pretty simple. For example, if I ask you to add numbers from 1 to 10, then you know that you will now have 5 pairs of 11. Kaise? How are we doing this? So what is 8? 8 is basically the first term and the last term. And 7 is the number of terms that we are looking for. And that's how many pairs we have. And there you go. That is how you add all the numbers that are in an arithmetic progression. What's an arithmetic progression? When the rule is that you either add or you subtract to get the next term. So let's try to add all the numbers from 1 to 100 using this method. If I wanted to write all the numbers from 1 to 100, and I ask you to add them up, then you can see that 100 plus 1 is 101. Right? So 100 plus 1 is 101. 2 plus 99 is 101. 3 plus 98 is 101. 4 plus 97 is 101. You keep on doing that until you get to 50 and 51. That is 101. So basically, you have 100 over 2 pairs of 100 plus 1. Where 100 is how many terms you have, and this 100 is the last term, and this is the first term. So do you see how pairing up allows us to calculate this really, really easily? That the sum is going to be 5050. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have an arithmetic progression, you can easily add all the numbers up by making these pairs. So let me give you an arithmetic progression. Let's say we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, all the way to 20. What is this series? This is basically even numbers. What is the rule here? What is the rule here?
For
You
add
keep
two.
on adding 2.
Yeah, add 2. So the rule is add 2, so that makes it an AP. AP means that you're either adding or you're subtracting, arithmetic progression. That means I can make pairs here. So what is the first term? 2. What is the last term? 20. So that means I will have pairs of 22. How many pairs? I have, how many terms do I have? From 2 to 20, how many even numbers will I have?
Sir, 10.
10.
10. Very good. So I will basically have 10 terms. So 10 over 2 pairs. So 5 pairs of 22, which gives me 110. There you go. Now, if they asked us, okay, no, calculate all the sum till 22, then you'll be like, okay, I have 11 terms here. 11 terms mean you can make 5.5 pair, which is again 11 over 2 times first term plus last term. That is 132. So in any
Sir,
case
लेकिन
that जी
sorry, sir, लेकिन 22 नहीं होगा, cause अब हमारी term 22 नहीं है last.
the last, yeah, you're right, sorry, my bad. Yeah, the answer will still be 132. Okay, so do you understand what AP and AP is? AP is when the rule is you add or subtract a fixed number. And how do you figure this out? You take the first number, you take the last number, you make them pairs, and you can use the n by 2 thing to do that. Now here's the thing. What if I do not know the last number? Then there must be a way for me to figure out what the last number is. So वो भी बड़ा आसान है. Think about it like this. If I just want to go from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, then how is 10 related to the first number? How many jumps did I have to make to get to 10? 1, 2,
5.
3, 4. Not 5. 4.
Yeah. 4.
I took the first number and I added 4 times the rule. The rule was add 2. So I did 4 times that. This rule we are going to call D, difference. Okay? So my last number 10 is basically the first number plus 4 times the difference. But why 4? How many terms do I have in total?
Sir, we have 5 terms.
5 terms.
5.
So 5 में से पहले वाली पे you are already standing there. You're already standing there and you want to get here. So how many jumps will you have to make? 1 less than that. 1 less than how many terms you have. And the starting point is this. So this will give you the last term. In fact, not the last term. I want the third term. Let's suppose I want the third term. So I'll be like, okay, I'm starting at 2. I'll add 2, then I'll add 2 again. I'll get to the third one. That means start at 2 and do 2 times 2. Let me give you another example. बहुत ज़्यादा 2s हो गए यहाँ पे. Let's say we have 7, 14. बल्कि इसको भी छोड़ेंगे. बहुत simple सा है.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, जो ऊपर आपने formula लिखवाया L equals A plus, sir, n it will always be n minus 1.
Yeah, because what is n minus 1? Try to understand. Formula याद नहीं करना. Try to understand कि कहाँ से आ रहा है. I'm just making these formulas up as we go. कैसे होता है? You always look at how you're jumping. So for example, this one, this 7 wala sequence, what is the rule here? Or what is the D here? You're adding 10, right?
Yes, sir.
And what's your starting point? A. So A is your starting point. And to get to the next one, you have to make jumps of 10. So if I make 3 jumps, that means I will get to what? 37. Why? Because I have added 3 times 10 to the first term. That's how many jumps you'll have to make. Starting point आपका एक value होगा और अगला वाला. अब मुझे बताओ, what is the 37 in the sequence? This is term number 1. This is term number 2. This is term number 3. This is term number 4. The term number 4 will always come when you start at the starting point and you take 3 jumps. Term number 5 will always come when you start at the starting point and you take 4 jumps. Term number 17 will always come if you start at the starting point and you take 16 jumps. That means if I want to find out term number 4, I have to start at the starting point and take 1 less jump than whatever the difference is. तो इसका मतलब हो गया कि मुझे सिर्फ ये देखना है if I want to find term number n, I want to find nth term, it's going to be starting point plus one less jump than that. And if I want to sum it all up, so the sum is always going to be, sum till that point is always going to be of the sequence. अगर मैंने sum of the sequence निकालना है तो n over 2 pairs of first and last number added together. Now here's another thing. If I don't know the last number and I don't want to figure out the last number, then I can simply plug in the formula here. So this is n by 2 a plus, what is the last number? Last number is this thing, a plus n minus 1 into d. Now there will be some algebra here. So let me just simplify this. This becomes 2a plus n minus 1d. And that's the formula that you will find in your books. But I've never really understood this formula कि क्या है. मुझे तो नहीं इसकी समझ आ रही. मुझे तो इसकी समझ आती है. मुझे तो इसकी समझ आती है. Because to me it's more intuitive, knowing where the formula comes from rather than memorizing it. So you got it? That is AP. There will be questions where they'll ask you to find a certain term. There will be questions where they will give you a term and they'll ask you what the term is. And lastly, they'll ask you for sums. So let's do some questions. And then after that, we will move on to GP.
Sir, जो question है जहाँ पे they will give us a term and they will ask what the term is. तो sir, इसको कैसे solve करेंगे? Because we've done the other two types of questions.
This is quite a technical question, लेकिन इतना मुश्किल नहीं है. It's not a simple question. Okay, the first term of an arithmetic progression. So उसने बता दिया it's an arithmetic progression. That means there's going to be a difference. The first term is 12. Okay, a is 12. Sum of the first 9 terms is 135. So S9 is 135. Do you understand what S9 means? It means sum of the first 9 terms. Okay. So how will you find sum of first 9 terms? It's going to be the 9th term पहले हम निकाल लेते हैं ना. अब 9th term क्या होगी? मतलब term number 9. It will be the first number plus 8 of jumps. 8 jumps करेंगे तो आप last term पे चले जाएंगे ना. So that will be 12 plus 8d. Do you get it? That this is the term number 9?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, until that term, how many pairs will I have? I will have 9 by 2 pairs of the first number and the 9th term. So basically, वो क्या बन जाता है? My sum is 135. I have 9 by 2 pairs of 12 plus 8d. I just plug this in here. So that means I have 135 equals 9 by 2 into 24 plus 8d, which is a pretty simple question for me now. Okay, so that is 270 over 9 equals to 24 plus 8d. So this becomes 30. 30 minus 24 is 8d. Okay, if I'm not wrong. So 6 is equal to 8d. So d is equal to 6 by 8, which is 34. 3 by 4, sorry. Now the next question is saying, अच्छा नहीं वो geometric progression है तो वो अभी हम छोड़ देते हैं. Let's just stick to arithmetic progression for now. Let me find the question. The fifth term of an arithmetic progression is 18. That means t number 5 is 18. वैसे t number 5 कैसे आती होगी? It will be the first term plus 4 jumps of d. यही होगा. अच्छा. And the sum of first 5 terms is 75. और वो कैसे आया होगा? I will have 5 by 2 pairs of the first term and the 5th term. तब जाके मेरे पास ये 75 आया होगा. So that will be 75 is equal to 5 by 2 a plus 4d. That is 75 is equal to 5 by 2 2a plus 4d. I'll just simplify this now. So this becomes 15 is equal to a plus 2d. I have one equation here. और ये मेरे पास दूसरी इक्वेशन बन रही है 18 is equal to a plus 4d. दो इक्वेशंस बन गई हैं. Are you following this? कहीं पे प्रॉब्लम है तो मुझे बता दें. And now that we have two simultaneous equations, we can simply add it all up. So 18 is equal to a plus 4d. I solve them simultaneously. That gives me minus 3 is equal to minus 2d. d is equal to 3 by 2. So that's the difference. And what's the first term? Take any of these equations. Let's say I take 18 is equal to a plus 4d. So d is 3 by 2. 2 cancels out. I'm left with 18 is equal to a plus 6. 18 minus 6 is a. A is equal to 12. So I've gotten the first term. I've gotten the difference. यही मुझे चाहिए था. Read through it. Tell me if there's anything you don't understand. So that's arithmetic progression. And these are the kinds of questions that you will see in arithmetic progression. Okay? I'm going to give you a question and I'll ask you to solve this. Okay? So let's read the question. The sixth term of an arithmetic progression. So term number 6 is 23. And the sum of first 10 terms is 200. Okay. So let's see what, and we have to find term number 7. Okay. So if you're talking about just the sixth term, then that means what is sixth term going to be? It's going to be term number 6 is going to be first term plus 5 times the difference.
5d.
Yeah. So 23 is equal to a plus 5d. That's one equation that I have. Okay. First 10 terms, let's see. What is 10th term going to be? 10th term is going to be first term plus 9 times the difference. And my sum of 10 term is going to be 10 by 2 pairs of first term plus 10th term. And this is equal to 200. So मैं थोड़ा सा इसको simplify कर लेता हूँ. 10 by 2 is 5. A plus 9d is 200. So 5 times 2a plus 9d is 200. So that is 2a plus 9d equals to 40. Right? So I have two equations here. I will simplify them, simultaneously solve them, and then find T7. Okay, so let me just write them again. So 2a plus 9d equals 40. Okay, I multiply this whole thing by 2. And then I subtract the signs. So minus 2 se kar liya. This becomes 2a plus 9d equals to 40. And that becomes minus 2a plus, minus 10d equals to minus 46. This cancels out. I'm left with minus d is equal to minus 6. So d is equal to 6. My difference is 6. And now I want to figure out the first term. So 23 is equal to a plus 5 times 6. So 23 is equal to a plus 30. A is going to be minus 7. So my difference is minus 7. Okay, so what's the 7th term? My first term is minus 7. My difference is 6. So what's the 7th term? 7th term is going to be starting value plus 6 times the difference. ऐसी है. So starting value is minus 7. 6 times the difference is going to be 29. And there you go.
So I did all of it right, पर जो वो first step ढूंढी थी ना, मैंने उस पे पता नहीं क्यों 40 is equals to 2a plus 9d ले लिया था.
So 40 is 2a plus 9d. What do you mean?
Like a की value find out करने के लिए मैंने वो equation ली थी. मेरा आंसर बहुत weird आ रहा था.
नहीं, आप वो equation ले सकते हैं. It doesn't matter. Even if I try to do that, let me do it. So 2a plus 9d is 40, right? And I know that d is 6. So 9 times 6 is 40. So 2a plus 60, 9 times 6 is 54. 40. 2a is equal to minus 14. A is equal to minus 7. So even if you do that, it will give you the same answer.
Sir, I गलती से divided 40 and 54. My bad.
Happens. We all make these mistakes. So I think we should stick with AP for today. You guys should practice the questions, and in the next class we will do GP. So हम जल्दी नहीं करते, हम पहले AP कर लेते हैं, फिर हम GP कर लेते हैं. Okay?
Sir, AP के लिए please questions post कर दीजिए classroom में.
I will post the questions right away. Okay. It's a combined worksheet of AP and GP. So just do the questions that are on AP, arithmetic progression.
Sir, specifically mentioned होगा ना कि arithmetic progression.
Even if it's not mentioned, just know that if you're adding or subtracting something, it's an arithmetic progression.
Okay.